Welcome to the Painter Marketing Mastermind podcast, a show created to help painting company owners build a thriving painting business that does well over $1 million in annual revenue. I'm your host, Brandon Pierpont, founder of Painter Marketing Pros and creator of the popular PCA educational series Learn, Do, Grow, Marketing for Painters. In each episode, I'll be sharing proven tips, strategies, and processes from leading experts in the industry on how they found success in their painting business. We will be interviewing owners of the most successful painting companies in North America and learning from their experiences. Using a different link. So if you just want to resend him his panelist link, maybe give him a call so we can get him in here. Mike, Shane, Mark, man, one of the things I love about these events is I'm basically friends with everyone. What's up, Juan? Good to see you, man.
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Can hear you loud and clear, man. You look good.
Oh, man, you always give me a heart attack. This happened last time, so.
Whew, I don't give you a heart attack. We send you a link. We put it in your calendar. Juan, I'm babying you over here, man. Just got to use the right link.
Hey, I'm a painter at heart, man. I'm working on it.
Right. Juan has struggles with this link, and he's killing it in business, guys. So we're listening to what the guy's got to say.
There we go.
All right, cool.
Let's do it.
I'm going to call on you guys. If you could just introduce yourself, the name of your company, where you're based, kind of residential, commercial, what do you serve? And if you want to say anything about, how long you've been in business, if you want to identify your revenue range, how many team members you have, just so people kind of have some perspective of who we're hearing from here. So Mike, you want to kick us off?
Awesome. Mike Sutton. I own a company, Kind Home Painting Company. We're based out of Denver, Colorado. We've been in business for 8 years. We do 100% residential work. And last year, we completed just over $15 million in revenue. And currently we have something like somewhere around 70 full-time employees. Those are not painters. Those are reps, phone people, project managers, technicians, etc.
I was really hoping you were going to drop some of that, Mike, so people could understand the magnitude of your business.
Thank you, Brandon.
Okay, but everyone on here is, I handpicked everyone on here. So every single person on here is an absolute killer. Mark?
So my name is Mark DeFrancesco. I founded a company up in Connecticut called MDF Painting and Power Washing. We did last year 84% residential. The other 16% were commercial repaint. And last year we were at 5.2 million in revenue.
And Mark, you're man, we have so many quality contractors that are adding other value. Are you running a sales program at this point?
Yeah, so I created a sales program that's essentially videos and scripts and the whole nine to train my own internal sales team about 7 years ago. And so about 2 years ago, I started to share it with other painting contractors that are non-competing with me. And we have a program that we call Paint for America Mastermind. So that's why this logo is a little bit different. Yeah.
Sweet. Juan, I know I'd love in the intro if you could talk a little bit about your guys' unique style of growth, just so people can understand the kind of influencer you are.
I don't know about all the influence, but thank you for having me here, guys. I really appreciate it. As you guys know, my name is Juan Vasquez. We are located in beautiful Monterey, California. Just gotta throw it out there, right? So I've been painting for over 27 years. I started Funded Illusions Inc. back in, 18, 19 years ago, right? And so what's interesting is that we ran our business just like any other small business in the country, the majority of business in the country, where it was just myself and a couple of the guys for 12, 13 years. The last 5, 6 years, everything has shifted. We've learned to create a business. So we've been working on that for the last 5 years, my business partner and I. So basically we have reinvented ourselves multiple times. And this to show you guys, how things can transparent from being the painter to becoming the contractor. For some of us takes a lot longer. For some guys in the first 5 years, they're doing $10-20 million. For us, it's taking a very long time, but it's been a great journey. So it's great that we can always get to a point in our business and make that shift. So that's basically what has happened to us. Because of that, we also have a podcast where we basically communicate and introduce Hispanic contractors throughout the country. I also chair for the PCA in Espanol, so that's something that's very near my heart, because that's something that we've been able to bring the resources to a whole new community like myself that is in desperate need of that. So yeah, that's a little bit of us. We do high-end home residential painting in our area. So some of our
Juan, you're going dark on
dollars
us.
to paint a home. So we're in a very unique market. Oh, I'm here.
You're back. You're good.
All right, sorry. So yeah, and so we've been doing that for a long time, and now we are moving into introducing a commercial section to our business to help the growth of the business.
Amazing. Thank you for that, Juan. Really impressive journey that you've made. Love what you're doing with everything with PCA and Espanol. And then we have Shane, last but not least. Shane and I work together on the PCA residential committee. He does a lot for the PCA, for the companies growing there. Shane, if you just kind of tell us where you're at, who you're serving, a little bit about your business.
Yeah, and I don't usually look at myself on the screen, but I'm watching my body do this right here, and I have no idea why. I move a
I
lot,
think
and they
you have
film me all the
the
time.
auto. There's like an auto feature where it'll kind of auto center you, move it. I move enough on my own, so I disable that. But you're good.
I have
It's
no
not an issue.
idea. I'm like one. It's above my above my pay grade. But I believe you. Yeah. So we're in South Carolina. We would argue that's beautiful too. One. And so different opposite ends of the country. Yeah, and I came from a totally non-painting background. I was in inner city ministry, nonprofit work for years, and kind of backed into the painting world and really fought it for a while. Like, I don't want to do this. And then at some point a few years ago, kind of relented and said, okay, like let's figure out how to grow a little bit. And so we're probably the smallest on the block in this group right here. But we love what we do, love our team. And so we just last year switched to a hybrid model. So we have in-house and subcontractors. And we will probably be somewhere between 1.5 and 2 this year. I know that's a broad range, but it depends on some personnel decisions that we're evaluating right now. And just if we grow, we want to grow very healthily, conservatively, because I about killed our family doing inner city work, and we're not doing that again. So
Yeah, so I'll say Shane and I have connected on a pretty personal level regarding balancing business with family life. It is challenging. We can be up here on the screen and look super successful, but I will tell you, everyone has their struggles. So Shane and I have connected on that. I've struggled with it.
yeah.
I think everyone on here struggle with it. When you try to do great things in business, it is difficult sometimes. And we'll get into a little bit of that. It is difficult sometimes to make sure, you're keeping your eye on the ball with family and everything else that you need to do. So I think that's a very common struggle. And I think Shane's done a phenomenal job balancing that and making that a priority. So guys, I want to hop in here. I want to lead off. I just feel like times are crazy right now, right? Politically, I've never seen anything like, the past 4 or 8 years. It's just insane. Economically, right? Like we're going to do great. We're going to do terrible. There's so many disparate views out there. I mean, obviously the tariffs things, however you lean politically, things are definitely different. I mean, that's a fact. Things are very different right now than they've ever been. What are you guys seeing for this year? What are you seeing for this year compared to last year? Kind of walk me through how the last year has been and what you see for this year. And this is open. Anyone can hop in.
I can start. I'd love to go up there, right? So something that I think it has to be with where what your market is, because their different markets are going to get affected completely different. Commercial, you have your jobs you signed up probably 2 years ago, and now they're happening. So it's going to take that process. In residential, it's kind of immediate, especially if you're doing repaints. Those are, they're as they go. So you are very into what's happening right now. For us, we do kind of function in a way like commercial, because some of these homes have to be built, then we come in. So it is almost like a lapse between 1 year to 2 years to where we come in when we sign in. So it varies for us. I am involved with the Hispanic board, advisory board for Sherwin-Williams as well. And it's really great for me because we see the inside, they've been down about 30% this first quarter, and that reflects everything that we're doing. And it's just, I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty in the industry. There's a lot of things moving on, but as you guys know, there's always something. A couple years back, it was we couldn't find a guy to work for us. We couldn't find the help. Then before that was like, oh, we're trying to get the millenniums into the market. And now it's like, okay, we're not getting the right leads, we're not getting enough leads. And so there's always something. I think in a business, it's good to create strategies. Last year, something that helped for us is understanding that our clients were the biggest supporters. So last year, it was a slow year for us, but we ended up at the same level as the year before because we reached out onto our CRM and really became very focused on reselling to our clients, and that really helped us. So we created these systems that as things move forward, you can reach back into your little bag of tricks and say, okay, we're going to apply this because this is what's coming up. So that's what we've learned throughout the years.
Yeah, I love that. So leveraging your list, if for those of you who listen to my presentation, a lot of that is what Juan's talking about there, right? You have past leads, past clients, and most painting contractors completely ignore that. And when things become more uncertain or the cost per lead goes up, those are basically free leads, free projects for you.
Because we can't control what's happening. We don't understand. We could be extremely good in a couple months, or it can be really bad. It's just very uncertain. There's no control over that for us, but we have big control of how we structure our business to be prepared, proactive for what's coming or may come.
Yeah. Mike, Shane, Mark, what are you guys thinking for this year?
Yeah, I'll share a little bit. I think universally the painting industry across the whole may have experienced something around July of last year. Potentially I'm misspeaking, but I can certainly say that lead flow decreased in fall of last year. And to everyone's ill advice, it was, oh, it's an election year, things are happening, just wait till next year. And as a company, I will say this year closing ratios are up, dollars booked per estimate is up, average job size is up. We've increased our prices, we're winning more work than we won previously. Leads are down. Objectively, fewer leads are coming in, but we're booking more revenue with what we have. And the focus for our team is how do you get more efficient with what you're given? And our energy this year is focused on leveling up our impact, making sure that we're keeping our eyes on the important thing, which is supporting the community, giving back to the people around you. We're increasing our donations. We're increasing our free paint jobs for families in need. And we're really just trying to put the energy into others and that it comes back. So simultaneously fight to improve your scripts and your messaging and your effort and see how that we've always shared a story since 2020 of Be the Buffalo. And Brandon, I may have shared this with you at one point, but when storms are coming in, Buffalo turn and they run at it. Because if they run through the storm, it lasts shorter. So we're running at this year and seeing success.
And that's cool. I don't think I knew that about Buffalo. So I don't think you had shared it, but I love it and I'm going to steal it. I'm going to use it.
Yeah. Cows will turn and walk
that.
away.
I think were
Yeah.
you guys that did that presentation at PCA a few years back, a couple years back? Because I heard it at the PCA.
I did
No.
not know.
Mike,
Okay.
finally, I've been trying to drag this guy to a PCA event forever. He finally comes to PCA Expo. I meet him in person for the first time. We've done, I don't know how many podcast episodes together. I'm like, man, I can finally hang out with him. And then I got extremely ill. And so I got to basically say bye to him on the escalator. I was like, man, that is a bummer. I'll probably see Mike again in like 5 years. Because we basically went to his hometown.
Hey,
So
the PCA was phenomenal. I will be returning.
phenomenal. Yeah,
There
good.
you go.
All right, finally. I've been talking about Mike for years. I've been like, man, I had this podcast. Nobody knew who he was because he lived under a rock. So thank you, Mike, for entering the world and teaching us all something. So we got Juan, who's talking about leveraging your list. You have past leads, you have past clients. When things get a little rocky, when your cost per lead goes up, reach into your bag of goodies. It's your list. That's a value. And then, get free work, right? We have Mike, who's talking about, hey, the number of leads is down, and yet somehow he's up because he's got a super dialed in sales process. He's operating from a place of abundance. He's not saying, well, we have fewer leads, I'm going to cut my price, I'm going to be really scared. He knows that he has a really refined sales process. He knows he sells on value, so he's making more profit per sale, and his close rate's going up. Guys, you can do this stuff, right? Sell, leverage your list. Shane, Mark, what are you guys thinking for this year?
I can kick it off between us, Shane, if you like. I mean, I'm the eternal optimist, so I'm probably not the best person to ask for this. I have a lot of blinders I'm not super political. I mean, I have my thoughts and opinions like everyone else, but when it comes to the business and how we interact with the whole marketplace, I try to just focus on the things that I can control, and a lot of the other stuff, I just call it the noise. And I just try to remain calm when it's up and when it's down and just watch our internal KPIs. I mean, similar to what Mike said, we're controlling what we control. And the truth of the matter is, even in my marketplace, in my best areas, I spread less than 1% of all the gallons of paint that are actually being bought and sold and spread in those areas. So if I look at the larger economy or different things that are happening, it could become easy for me to blame challenges on that. And I just look back and say, I really, although we're a bigger size in our local market, we are small relative to all the gallons of paint that are spread. So when we see our lead flow drop, we just focused on the things that we could control to increase the flow. When we see our, ADLs, which is a sales metric we look at, and our dollars sold, we just control what we can control. More training, sometimes higher pricing, more value to the customer. And so there's 8 major things that I look at in terms of metrics. And on all of those metrics, we're trending in a positive way. And that's a good sign, despite what maybe the outside world feels. Just focus on what you could control would be my advice.
Yeah, you only have control over the input. You actually have no control at all whether a customer buys from you. You have no control at all about what your competitor does, but you can control how you show up, what your sales process looks like, how you treat the customer, whether you deliver the proposal in home or you email it over 48 hours later and you've completely lost control. You can control all that. Shane?
Yeah, I really resonate with a lot of what has been said so far. One thing I told our team last year, Mike talked about the leads starting to come down. I just looked at him and said, if you can grind now and be successful now, then we're going to just absolutely destroy something later, And so I would say we're still seeing a slower lead flow for sure. Our business is up dramatically. I mean, we've kind of doubled every year for a few years. And so that's not exactly the pace we're on, but we're close right now. Not saying that's our goal this year, but that's the volume we're doing. We do have a little bit of I mean, I guess I call it like an unfortunate blessing in that we live right where Helene ripped through. So we're doing a lot of storm damage stuff. And so that's I know that's kind of buoyed our numbers a little bit this year. So I would echo everything that's been said to this point, and just a little bit like Mark. I mean, I'm aware, not naive. He's not saying he's not, but I just kind of tell our team, like, we can control these things and let's get after it, and I love the idea of the Buffalo kind of thing, because that's the mentality I want on our team, is just like, we're going to grind, we're going to fight for this, and see what happens,
Yeah. So I love what all of you guys are saying. And Mark, your point too about you're at 5.5 million, whatever, you control 1% of the paint gallon sold. I mean, I think there's this perception in the industry, there's this misconception that you've tapped out a market when you haven't even scratched the surface. So if you actually sit down, do the math, have this abundance mindset, that's what I'm kind of getting from all of you guys is, hey, we lean into it, Buffalo, run through the storm, abundance mindset. But I'd love to dive into that a little bit, because for me, I'm listening to this. I'm like, okay, the lead flow is down, but all your businesses are up. I know, Shane, there's a little bit of booing there from the storm, but how is it that the people on this panel, the lead flow is down, but your business, is it just a mindset? Is there something else? If people here are listening and say my lead flow is down too, but my business isn't up, what
Well,
should
I
they
mean,
do?
one thing I would say is adjustments are made. I mean, if we look at, say, we need to get 67 leads a week and we see that they're trending at 49, that's where I look at the overall market and say, if I'm only doing 1% anyway, I'm capturing 49 out of thousands. I can't go and find a way to go get 67. So adjustments are made. We're doing more of what works and less of what doesn't work. As long as you're watching it, for us, it's every week looking at that stuff and making little micro adjustments. I think that's critical for how we handle it.
So knowing your data. So you're mapping out the revenue. You're gonna know your close rate. You're gonna know your average ticket value per project. You're gonna know your gross profit margin, and you're going to actively manage your company. Figure out, all right, where am I getting the leads from? What's my cost per lead? Move maybe some marketing dollars around, and figure it out, as opposed to just running the marketing kind of blind and say, man, I wish I had more leads, but don't necessarily know where they're coming from, what I'm paying for them, or what we're doing.
Correct.
I think another thing is to add to that, which I think everybody here is probably doing, is we're selling value and experience. There's so many. I mean, I do a lot of quotes. I still do most of the sales for our company at this point, at our size, and I can tell when people are fishing for the bottom dollar. All of us can tell that, and that's not our client. And through that process, though, I've learned, there's a certain big national franchise that is present probably in all our markets, and they say, well, this person gave this price of this, and it's 25% less. And it's, okay,
Murdercrow.
like I'm not gonna, I'm not, I thought I was being politically correct. So it's that there's a race to the bottom in our area price wise, by men and women who lead these businesses who are scared. And that's just a wrong mentality, and so like most of the men on this panel here, I think we've probably all raised our prices and we said we are different. And if you go with, like, I want the people that go with us and at the end say, you know what, we spent 10% more to go with you guys, and I'm so glad we did. That extra $2,000 was worth it. And we have heard that before, and it's not just because our crews will sing while they work. Sometimes it's not like it can be our in-house, it can be our sub, but we want that customer to have a great experience from the time they call in, the very first step, and I have a rock star person answering the phone in our office, to the time we send that final invoice and we give them the thank you gifts. So what is that experience we're creating? And then they're telling their friends that, so that if our lead flow is down, hopefully we're getting some of those really hot leads, like the customer referrals that say, you've got to call these guys, because they're going to take care of you. So I think that's another thing, is can we communicate that value?
Yeah, I love that. So that's kind of the antithesis of how a lot of people think about pricing. So you're almost saying using the higher pricing almost as a differentiator. So saying, hey, we are going to come in higher and we're going to sell on the value, and the people that are our ideal customer avatar, which I think a lot of painting companies aren't thinking, who's my actual avatar? It's not everybody in your area. The ones that are my ideal avatar, they're going to see the price, but they're going to see everything I'm putting behind it. And that's going to resonate more with them than maybe a company that comes in, does their measurements, isn't really delivering that value, but is clearly trying to be a really competitive price.
Yeah,
Don't
I mean, I'm not
want-
trying to always be the most expensive, but I don't want to be the cheap, I mean, so to be clarified, but I do feel like we want people that price is not their main objective. But if I can go into a customer's house and win over somebody, even whose price is the main objective, if we can win them over through our sales process, that's great too, not by our price, but by our process.
Juan, can you tell people some of the size of some of the projects you've completed? Because I know when you told me it just rocked my world.
So our average high-end residential is $500,000. So the last couple projects we finished.
People think they can't sell for like 8K. Juan's over here doing $500,000 projects in a house.
So last residential we finished, it was 1.3 something million dollars to paint a residential home. And this includes, high-end finishes, cabinets, and so on. And so and I think it's great what Shane's saying here. It's so important to know your market too, right? Because I can't go out there and try to get leads because my clients are not looking for leads. I'm not gonna go find them on Google. I'm not gonna. These are very closed in networks like designers, architects, contractors. So it's a different world, right? So I have to create those relationships, and it's taken us a few years to create those relationships. And what we've done, when I say my little bag of arsenal or my little arsenal of tools, is we've been able to create. I mean, we do specialty finishes that no one does in the area. They would normally bring someone from, I don't know, New York or San Francisco, which is like 2 hours from here. And we're like, okay, why can't we do that? Why can't we not do that? So that's what we started doing, is we started creating a few years back. I remember us listening to Nick May, and I came into the PCA and I wanted to conquer the world and I wanted to do all these different things. It's like, no, focus on what you're good at, create a presence, create a brand, and just be the best in your area. And I'm not saying that we are the best in that area, but we are one of the ones that has one of the most unique finishes in the area. So if anyone is looking for quality, high-end finishes and unique finishes, we're the guys. They're not calling us for price. They're not calling us for can we do it? They're like, these are the guys. So that's what we focused on basically. And it's been great. It's been growing in that department, but now in order for us to expand, we looked into doing residential, like small repaints. And when I saw the average jobs being between 7 to 9,000, I'm like, how many jobs do I have to sell, to get to $1 million where I can sell one of these jobs? So I kind of shift out of that really quick. And I was like, no, this is not for me. So that's why we chose the commercial world, because that's the type of jobs that we have, and they're pretty much doing the same kind of uh, process that we're already doing on these big homes. So we're leveraging already our experience. So that's very important to know what your business is established for.
Juan, I'm curious, would we know somebody who
Huh?
purchased a $1.3 million paint job? Any chance some of
I'll
us
tell
might
you.
know that person?
Well, I'll tell you what, I never meet these people. They're from all over
Okay.
the world. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pebble Beach. There's a big
Yes.
golf area here, and so we have owners from all over the world. A lot from England. They come, and this is their third, fourth house. We're working on a project right now that their budget's $80 million to build a house. I'm like, that must be nice. So we always deal with architects, designers, caretakers. When the owners come, everybody leaves the house and they come and do their thing once or twice a year, and we get a list of repairs. And so for us, maintenance has become one of those things. Our average maintenance job is about $16,000. So yearly we maintain all these homes, and then it's just a repeating job for us. So
Interesting.
it's a very unique niche. You just have to always stay up to date. Now it's wallpaper. Everybody wants wallpaper in our area. Wallpaper, raw wood, and metal. So now we have to become the best at that.
I love the maintenance thing, man. Anytime you can take what's typically a one-time service and turn it into more of a recurring service. So we're going in,
Yeah.
completing the painting project, but then having maintenance, you're not only going to get that recurring revenue, which is going to help balance out any lulls potentially in new sales. It also obviously positions you for the repeat business because you're already servicing that home.
And
Love
that
it.
is our marketing, that's just staying on top of them when we call our clients, and then we're like, hey, Mrs. Smith, you're due for your 6-month follow-up. We wanted to come by your office, by your house. I want to make sure that we're not expecting anything to be wrong, but if there's anything, we would love to catch it and take care of it. The minute we walk in there, they are extremely like surprised. They're like, when does a painter call you? Like, why do you guys do this? And then they're like, oh my God, I got this for you to do, or my neighbor. And that's what we've been able to build here in our area. And it's a small community too. So
And you go do that. I mean, what's the fear of hiring a contractor? The fear, let's be frank, is that they're going to screw you, right? Some way, shape, or
exactly.
form, they're going to screw you. The projects typically not, the main fear, I mean, they could steal from you or there are other fears, but main fear would be they're not going to do a good job, and then they're not going to come back and fix it if they don't do a good job, and you're going to get ripped off.
That's correct.
So what the hope is that when you call them or you complain, that they'll come back. And what Juan's doing is just so far beyond that. He's going to actively come back when they didn't complain about everything. That's next level stuff.
It takes a while. It takes a while because it's new for every client and stuff. And they're like, oh, I'm not used to this. Like, well, why are you calling me? And then, but then once you do it, repeat it once or twice, they're like, oh my God, they're selling you to everyone they can think of. So that's helped us quite a bit. And that's what I meant. That's what we really leaned hard on last year. And that paid us, I mean, big dividends.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Juan,
goes
I'll
back to
second
that
it.
repeat referral.
Yeah, we had 2,000 clients from last year. We've talked to all 2,000 of those clients, asked for any warranty work, any touch-ups, and we have over 200 new estimates that we've done this year from those clients.
There you go. No, yeah.
And sure, we've filled our warranty schedule in the spring with those
Awesome.
projects, but gives us an opportunity to do high-touch service and show our commitment to them.
Exactly.
It's playing
Sometimes we
chess.
just don't, we don't take that opportunity is there. Sometimes we're too busy trying to get new leads, new clients and that happened to us. That's what I'm saying. It actually hit us in our face and we're like, what are we looking for new people? We have our guys. Let's go back to them and take care of them. And it worked out very well.
Yeah, I think some people listening to this might be fearful of, the QAs and the touch-ups. Dive into them, run at them. When that calendar's filling up, it inevitably is going to lead to great word of mouth. It's going to lead to all new projects. It changes the game. I mean, we started something we call our customer care program probably about 10 years ago, and we've kind of built off of it over the years, but it sounds very similar to what Juan and Mike are talking about, and it's one of the smartest things we've done. It's the right thing to do in business as well.
Right.
But to Shane's point, I just wanted to make one note to people that are listening. He had talked about selling on value. And what I got out of that was, hey, we want to hold our charge rate and not just lower our charge rate. I coach about 40 or so contractors now in sales around in different parts of the country. And just over the last 7 days, 2 of them have reached out to me nervous and wanting to rush to try to lower their charge rate. And I just want to mention what I said to them, to everyone who's on this call. The things that go into your charge rate haven't changed. What it's costing you to pay great painters to do great work probably hasn't changed. It hasn't dropped in half. Okay. It's probably increasing, right, over time. What you have to pay to put a great gallon of paint on the wall hasn't changed. It hasn't dropped in half. It's slightly increased, right? So how could our charge rate drop? It's just out of fear. It's out of not being able to sell the value, high value, low risk, not being able to sell a great customer experience. So it's easy. There might be a lot of people listening. They're like, I just need to fill my calendar. Let me drop the charge rate. I just caution you, please try to hold your charge rate because that's what's going to keep you in business. The things that go into that are the math that is not decreasing. That math is increasing and will continue to increase. So just a side note.
Yes, some of the listeners, you guys are sometimes raising your hands. If you have a question, put it in the Q&A and we'll get to it. We're going to have a lot of questions that we're going to cover in the last 15 minutes here. So one of the things I want to dive into, we've talked about the mindset. We've talked about not operating from a place of fear, holding the charge rate, potentially even leaning into increasing prices. Let's get into some of the tactical of that. Is there something that you guys can share? Maybe something we talked about the back end. So reaching out to past customers, really taking care of them, a sales call. Those are sales calls, by the way, guys. Those QA, it's a sales call. It presents as QA. What it is a sales repeat referral call. So there's multiple ways to do this, but how about on the front end? You guys have anything you do special to be able to close? Like Mike, you said you're closing at a higher rate while charging more. What are you doing leading up to that sale and during that sale that your competitors are not?
I don't know if I'm getting the answer quite.
We Our finance rate this year is significantly up.
Okay.
So we're making it more accessible to our clients at a
That's a
lower,
differentiator.
more affordable entry point than what they were expecting. And we offer a 10-year no exclusions warranty for our clients, and we offer 10-year financing terms to our clients, which basically makes a paint job attainable at something like $150 a month.
Wow,
The
that
majority
are
of
big
our leads,
differentiators.
the majority of our leads were people who were not actively shopping for a paint job. Their houses that we saw that needed to be painted, asked them if they wanted to start budgeting for that project, and then made it very accessible for them.
I have a question
I
for
hope you
Mike.
guys took notes, man. I hope everybody took notes on that. He just,
Oh yeah,
when we talk
that's
about unique selling propositions, he's
God. That
saying
was
10,
Do you
10-year warranty. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I asked that question, Mike. Don't hide stuff like that, man. If you guys are
do
doing
you,
stuff like that, don't make me pull it out of you. Just
does the
lead with it.
company does the company do the financing, or do you use a third party? And like,
We
which
use a
one do
third
you?
party.
Okay, do you
We
mind
use a third
sharing?
party. There's a ton of them out there. I've worked with many of them in the past. We are currently using Green Sky Finance.
Green Sky, and they've been excellent.
It's a bank. They don't have the same customer service we do as a painter,
Right.
but I can't complain. And it's pretty cut and dry as
Okay.
to what it
That's
takes to get
awesome.
an approval, and they're fairly universal across the board, whether you talk with a half a dozen of the home service finance companies out there.
Yeah.
It's
No,
awesome.
interesting you say that, because we just had a conversation. We're looking into, just grow different areas of the business, and one of them is the flooring. Same thing too. There's a company that can give us all the equipment at the same time. They have a third party that does financing 24 months with no interest, and they're showing us, the closing ratios and all that. I was like, it was amazing. Like, we never thought about like financing, but God, it is a game changer. We're not there yet, but this is something that we are exploring. So thank you. I already make some notes here. I'm learning, guys. Thank you, thank you. This is
Uh,
good.
and candidly, we've offered finance for 7 years that we've been in business. It is an incredibly difficult sale. The obstacles, the mental roadblocks that our sales reps have in offering it is incredible. And when I say we've seen an uptick, we're talking going from like a 2% finance rate to maybe a 5% finance rate. Where
Okay.
when you talk to a lot of those finance companies, Juan, and they say, look at the closing ratio impacts by making this accessible, they'll put some wild numbers in front of you saying things like 70% or just these astronomical numbers. Financing has been standardized in many home service industries. Window companies will often finance 85% of the things they sell. Painting, no one thinks about that when they get a painting quote.
Yeah.
And candidly, it's fairly offensive to clients when you say, are you sure you want to pay for this? Or would you like to spread out the payments?
Yeah.
So even some degrees are big. Yeah, sorry, Mark.
No, you're good. I mean, I find the same thing. We've probably had it for about 7 years or so, and there's been a very small percent. And that's why I ask those questions, because it's like it might be 2%, but to get the 2% to 5% of our business would make a big difference. And I think one of the things that we're actively coaching on is when we review payment options, make sure that we're saying, hey, we can pay by cash, by check, by credit card, by all these different options, or we can pay for all of it for you and you can make comfortable monthly payments. What would be best for you? And those are just some of the word tracks that are a good way to use it. We also try to pre-position with it and just have it out there for everyone. So we're talking about it as much as we can, or at least training sales team to talk about it as much as we can. But I think there is a stigma against it, and that's a challenge. When you go and buy a car, most people find it. When you buy homes, they're financed, right? And that's kind of like a high percentage of homes are financed, and paint jobs just aren't yet. But
Yes.
as the
Yeah.
price points move up further and further, those percentages have to increase. Going back to the original question, I guess, what else are we doing that could move the needle on sales? I mean, I love teaching sales and working on it, and I geek out on that stuff. So I would say just an overall thing is listening to the customer and contracting around what they actually want and not what we want to sell. And in some cases that means contracting around pain. In some instances, that's contracting around their accomplished list. And other times it's putting on our consultant hat and just trying to help them. Maybe they need to do part of the project now and part of it over time, or maybe financing is huge for them and they need something that's creative. I mean, we did a complex recently that was a condominium complex, and we were able to let our company, basically help them finance it and allow them different payment terms based on our relationship and prior relationship with them, where we felt comfortable enough extending that credit, not through a third party company, but directly from us. And that was enough to make that deal happen. So it's like looking at every deal is like, what do they want to buy? It sounds simple, but making what you're selling the solution to what they want to buy. And
I mean,
that's
it
a
is
lot of
simple, but
yeah, it's training every week, every day for the sales team.
it's simple, but it doesn't mean it's easy, right? It's
No.
consultative selling. You have a certain thing you're selling. It achieves a whole host of benefits, but you have to inquire, ask a lot of questions with the homeowner, commercial property owner, figure out what they value, and then sell to that. Yeah, I love it. So let's switch gears a little bit. So reviews, reputation, that's all super critical. You guys have any unique strategies for generating reviews? And then what happens if someone leaves you a negative review or someone kind of comes after your business? Do you have any strategies for mitigating that? Never
I
would
could
happen.
jump in. I mean, simple things. We bonus our people. We bonus our people. So we bonus our crew leaders. We bonus our salespeople. We have word tracks and role playing that we do where they practice asking for it at certain times, making it simple and easy for the customer to do. Um, in terms of responding to reviews, I've just had many years of having that, just having to deal with that. And I think my perspective on it has completely changed. I mean, you just have to step away from it, not be emotional. I love AI. So now I recently met someone that told me that they're using AI to do all their responses to their Google reviews. And it's like these great scripted responses, but there's no emotion in those AI responses. So I would copy and paste their negativity and let AI tell you that and and sit with that for a couple of hours and decide how you want to respond. That's literally my advice. But I would just be professional. The world sees who people are based on what they're saying out there. And sometimes those negative reviews help you as much as the positive ones, in my opinion. They're hard to swallow when you first get them, but you have to live with them.
Yeah.
Love that.
We've never really been big on reviews. Like I said, our business has been very, just personal. But as we move forward, we have been making more intentional. Our guys have these little QR cards so that if when we go, we can say, hey, the way we do it is this way. We don't ask for a review. In our contract, we say the best compliment you can do is give us a good review, it helps us and stuff. But the way we sell it, well, the way you can say we sell it is we ask them, it's like, would you help us, like compensate our guys? So it's not that we're asking, we want to go how good our guys did. And the minute you bring that up to them, they're like, oh my God, yeah, Pedro did amazing. This guy did amazing. So it's like, so it's a little tactic that we use. Is that way it's not Illusions needs a review from you, is we want to make sure that these guys get compensated and they get the reward that they deserve for doing such a great job. And everybody, we just did that yesterday, and the lady was just extremely happy. She sent like almost a whole letter saying how wonderful the guys were, so that's what we've learned to use.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal one. And I will say we have awards, rewards, prizes for our subcontractors based off of reviews. And we do have a mandatory review rate that we hold our project managers to. They're not comped per review, but it is an expectation that a percentage of their jobs are 5-star clients and raving fans. And it's easy, Brandon. You ask. And don't ask once, ask again, and then follow up on that ask after the person said yes. Be like, hey, you said you would. It's been a month. Can I still get that, please? My guys would very much appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
Always
mean,
be
it-
asking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
I
seen the
like
same
what Michael.
thing.
Sorry, Shane.
No, I was just saying we've seen the same thing. As soon as you say, "Hey, do you love having Divvy or Ryan or Pedro, whoever on your crew?" They get a bonus if you leave a review and mention their name. Like, boom. That's like the easiest way to get it because the customer connects it not to you, like Juan said, but to those people that were in their house. And then, like Mike said, we have a process. The first solicitation is supposed to be on the job site from the lead or the PM. And beyond that, it goes to the VA, and she's got a Google sheet in the channel tracking system there. So I will say it's extremely important. Maybe not for Juan, because he's got the market cornered out there. My brother, I love it. But I would say once we got over 100, it just snowballed. The leads. We had actually had to turn our LSAs off because we were getting so many just straight people. Oh, I found you on Google. And so it was interesting to see that happen last year.
Good.
Shane, turn that back on. That's going to be a really big mistake for you. long term. We can
That's a good
not
problem to
return-
have.
Not
That's a
return
good
LSA.
problem.
Again, it goes with the tension of family, or like I can only do so many sales calls,
Yeah.
so we can only handle so many leads, and so anyway, we're getting there, man. We're getting there.
It is a good problem to have. So I think Juan used the word sale. Like it's a sale. A lot of it's psychology. They're all sales. So we think, oh, we give the estimate. That's the only sale. You're selling the whole time. The repeat's a sale. The referral's a sale. The review's a sale. I like what Michael Chaney said. Hey, I mean, that's a verbal contract. She basically said in the Women in Paint panel, hey, we're gonna lead with, hey, we're gonna try to do a great job. We're gonna try to earn a 5-star review from you. Is that okay? Of course, the homeowner's gonna say okay. They're not gonna say no. I want you to do a crap job. They're gonna be like, yeah, that's great. And then now you've basically got buy-in. So you can build this intentionality. They're compensating their team. They're building it into the structure of how they run their company. It's like Mike, like you said, it's not hard. It just, you have to be intentional. I want to open up for questions in a second, but before we do that, we've talked a lot about sales, marketing, growth, that piece. You guys have any advice for hiring, building a team? Obviously those things go hand in hand, selling and growing, and then also needing to cover the operations.
What are you talking about? For hiring, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Building your team.
so something that so when we had the whole millennium thing that we couldn't hire a lot of and we need skilled labor, right? Because of the type of work we do. So we needed guys that were doing this for many years, and it was so hard to get those. So what we needed to do is how to train new guys. And so we created it's not something crazy, but it's a small training that we do. So most of our guys now that are with us, they're very young. They're in their 20s. My guy is 23 years old, 24 years old. And he's the one that ran the $1.3 million job. He's not a great painter. He is just great with managing people. So we had to learn that not every person is a painter. So we had to create our leads, our painter, our journeyman painter. So we created a system within us to do it. And like I said, it doesn't have to be something crazy. You just have to look at what are your needs and what can you do to help them. And we're constantly asking them, well, every 6 months we have a review, and then we ask them, what is the next thing that you want to learn? And so that's how we've been able to structure that. As far as retaining them or getting more people in our door, it's the same thing. They understand that here they're going to learn how to run a report. They're going to understand that they have a certain amount of hours to do their report. So basically, they are not just like any other cowboy that just go to work, grab a brush, and I don't care what you do. So now they're learning that there's a purpose and they can learn. And so from there, in a few years, they can either have a career with us or they can move on, but they're going to learn something different than what they learned anywhere else. So that's our pitch for them. And they get to learn very unique finishes. So we're leveraging everything that we are as a company, not to sell to the client, but to sell to the employees as well. And that has really worked out for us.
Love it. Thanks, Juan. So I'm going to go into some questions here. Guys, if you have questions, put them in the Q&A. About 13 minutes left. So Jose Reyes has a question for Juan. If you don't mind, Would you share how big your team is and your revenue last year so that we can visualize what is actually possible in this industry? I'm stuck at that 800K with myself and two crews. I'm trying to hit my first million.
Yeah. We're not big. We are $3 million. We closed $3 million the last couple of years. We were 25 guys last year at $3 million. And something that we've been working on is tightening our systems to be more profitable. So we don't want to just, I mean, probably about 3 years ago, I wanted to conquer the world and I wanted to grow. And we did. And the year before, we did $3 million with over 30 guys. So what we did last year is just refine our systems and be more profitable. So it's more being profitable than growth. And so that's what's helping us right now.
Awesome. Someone else asks, and I think this is going to be good for everyone. Mark, you had talked about selling to the pain. What are some specific pain points that you guys have identified with customers, like certain kind of avatar pain points that you sell to?
One is the time frame. When do they need it done? What is urgent that has to happen? Another one is, the warranty, how long things are going to last, negative experiences they've had in the past. What's the cost of doing something right versus doing something wrong? You have to pay again and again and again. Those are two of the major ones that we probably all deal with. I think the actual experience you're going to have. Yeah, as a consumer, what experience are you going to have? Like when you hire Juan and he's going to call in 6 months to check in, to forcefully go out and make sure everything's perfect and be showing up to make sure that he's taking care of your property, even if you're not that concerned about it. That's one extreme. The other extreme is like that tailgate warranty, meaning the warranty is only good until I see your lights drive away when you get the last check. And that's what a lot of the painters out there are giving to our clients. That's why the industry has a tough reputation, because there really are no warranties and they don't have a great experience. So that's a big part of it, is building that value. And they've seen that if they've been a homeowner for a while, they've had negative experiences. That's why when you interview a client as part of your sales call, you want to go deep, not just on with experiences they've had with other painters, but with other contractors in general. And I'm sure a lot of us do that, but that's critical to discover their pain points.
That's true.
Yeah, I think the concept of other home service contractors in general is an important one. I think we can start to think we're super special in the homeowner's mind, but maybe actually we're not. We're another contractor. So those lessons, and if the roofer screwed them, if the electrician screwed them, if the plumber screwed them, that's your problem now. So I think that's really good point. Ben asked, what is everyone's residential warranty? I think, Mike, you said 10 years. You guys have a different kind of warranty program that you offer?
We don't offer any warranty. If you look at the cans, that not many manufacturers offer any type of warranty, especially if it's outside. We live out on the ocean, so there's no warranty. But one good thing that we always say is that we stand by our work. So if it's something that wasn't applied correctly, or there was a mistake, or something's not working, we are going to be there to support every step of the way, whatever that means. And so, but it's not an official warranty. It's just a warranty that we are going to stand behind our work, and any labor will be warranty. And that's when we sell the maintenance part of it. It's like, this is how we're going to be on top of it to monitor.
Ours is 5 to 10 years, depending on what the actual substrates are. Right. If we have, we're on the water in New England. If we have a solid stain that's white and is immaculate and isn't, you don't have massive peeling or rotted wood, we can warranty that longer than, a 250-year-old historic home that has all types of layers of paint and all types of different things happening for prep. But we layer that in with what we call our customer care program and MDF care, so that every year they have the option of doing a basket of 5 different maintenance things that are basically like preventative maintenance. Like you get your oil changed on your car. It's the same thing for the paint job. So soft washes, gutter cleanings, touch-ups, those types of things, and we make them a basket that they can get that added on. So we associated a fixed price to that so that then we can say to them, we'll waive that price. So we'll give you 6 years, no questions asked for warranty, but then another 4 years additionally as MDF care. And that just helps us just add leverage to the point of sale when we're trying to close.
I like that. It's pretty clever.
Yeah. It's really, yeah, it's cool.
Awesome.
We're gonna school, boys. We're gonna school.
It never ends.
Never
Yeah,
is.
there's some gold here, man. So Todd and Russell, they're digging a little bit into the finance piece. I think that finance piece is so important and so rarely done. So Todd asked, what are some finance companies to not do business with? So I don't know if you guys have any negative experience, just a caution if you want. What should we look for with a finance company? And then what rates can you expect it to cost the business?
As
So
far
that's
as
like,
the rates go, you could see them all over the place, Brandon. We've paid upwards of 17% off top line revenue to provide financing for our clients, to as little as 3%, same as a credit card. Depending upon the terms, every finance company will have a list of them with different price rates on interest rates, lengths, APRs, etc., and build it into your price.
for us, we've used two primarily, Enterbank and then Hearth. And so Hearth really doesn't cost the business anything. Enterbank costs a little bit depending on which, you choose. And so we put it more onto the customer, the cost of it.
It goes back
So
to that sales
basically, I see this selling us kind of like a dealership, car dealership, right? You make the sale, you do this, and then anything past that, then now you deal with the actual finance institute. You have nothing else to do once you do the sale, correct?
Correct.
So
Now,
But we
I
wanted,
don't know
we
if
want to train our salespeople to try to hold their hand. I mean, the job of the salesperson is to hold the customer's hand and help them make a great decision of what they're going to buy. You can't really ever sell them anything. You could help them buy. And I think it doesn't stop with the financing. And one of the things that we struggle with and are constantly trying to get better with is holding their hand. Like if you go to a car dealership, when you've picked out the car you love, they have a guy that's all he does is work out all the details of the financing so you don't have to think about it. It's a mistake in residential repaint sales to just let it go to the finance company. I think it's smarter to hold their hand, even though the finance company is doing all the work, and bring them to the point where it's simple and easy for them, because you will lose deals if you just treat it like, okay, it's out of my hands. Does that make sense?
okay.
Yeah.
that experience. You're selling that experience. You're making it easy for them.
also,
Okay,
Juan, you might
Ho-
have a hard time getting finance on a $1.3 million paint job. It
Yeah,
is an
I don't-
unsecured loan.
I don't think
17% on
my guy.
that.
I don't think these guys will need the finance. They will get offended. They will probably get offended.
They'll give you the financing.
Right? They're
Yes.
like, let me
They are
finance
the
it for
bank.
you.
They are your
They are the
financing company for all your future projects.
Oh, that's what we're wishing for.
All right, Jose asks, how much on average are you guys charging to your customers per square foot for an exterior painting job?
That's a so broad
I
question,
don't know if anyone
right?
wants to throw out some
Well, we
pricing
just
metrics.
I don't know that metric offhand because we base it on man hours and charge rate times hours. I mean, I'd have to backfill in on, we use Estimate Rocket currently to be able to see what it is per square foot, but that's loaded because I mean, I have prep work in there. I have all different surfaces that we're hitting. That's a hard one to give an accurate answer to for me.
Yeah, that's where
Yeah,
with
same.
Paint Scout, check out Paint Scout, check out things like that if you're trying to get your pricing dialed in, because there's a lot, there are a lot of resources out there. David asked, what is your single marketing activity that generates the best results?
Ours is personal, personal contact, the presence. I think for us, marketing, like I said, our marketing or is more like brand awareness. Is you will see our vans everywhere in town, and it's a small town, so it's just rolling billboards every day.
I'm I'm going to throw out a few if I could.
Yeah.
Past customers are obviously always have the greatest CPE for us, cost per estimate. But home shows work well when people are spending money. Home shows, direct mail. I find the proximity mailers are going to give you the best CPE. GLSA has been good for us lately. Those are some just like quick hits and signs. Tons of polybag signs over wireframe. That's a winner. Put them everywhere. Job sites, obviously, but put them everywhere. It helps.
Brandon,
Oh
Shane,
yeah, by
my
the way, painters marketing pros. Don't forget, right? Oh yeah, we
There you
almost
go.
forgot, guys.
come on, man.
Sure. And Brandon,
Yeah.
I'll share. We advertise anywhere and everywhere that you possibly can, but our primary lead source is door-to-door canvassing.
Hmm.
So it is by and far the largest revenue
How
generator for our team.
how many door knockers do you have at any given time?
17 are out today.
Great.
Wow.
Shane,
That's
It is
awesome.
illegal. It is
Yeah, I
illegal
think
for us to do that here.
There are places that are like that, and there are certainly communities that outlaw it. And then there are minor outlaws.
No.
yeah,
Sorry, Shane.
I think no, you're good. Repeat customers, customer referrals are obviously the strongest, period. So it's, somebody mentioned it earlier, I think Mike or something, making touch points with those consistently. So recurring touch points with those, that book of business you already have, is our strongest. Now, obviously, there's other things we do, but I think that's the pot of gold that a lot of times we can overlook easily.
awesome. Guys, we have 2 minutes and we got to wrap this up. What is one thing, if people listening could only take one thing away from this panel, what would each of you want them to take away?
I mean, I can go
Well,
ahead. Your business is gonna keep evolving, just like the market and life. So your business needs to keep evolving with it. We've learned to be more on top of things, so not react to things, but be proactive. So try to look ahead and see where you want to go, and set up at least your goal for the year and work towards that. That's very helpful. It's been very helpful for us.
I think don't be afraid to work.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody
You
looks
have to
at
work
this and
that.
they're just like, oh, I want to get to a place where I don't like, it's like quality of life, whatever phrase you want to put behind it. It's you can probably get your business to a place where you don't really do anything. I don't know that that's how we're created as human beings, to be honest. And I think that's just a little bit of an illusion that, I mean, I'm 43, so I think it's somewhere in my age and a little bit less that has that illusion. And no pun intended, Juan, from illusion painting.
I
But
love it.
I just think you gotta be willing to grind. You gotta be willing to run into the storm, and you gotta be willing to do the work. And sometimes that's stopping and having a conversation with that staff person that's having a hard day, and sometimes that's figuring out where we're gonna get our next lead from. It looks different if you're gonna lead a company.
It's longer and harder than you want it to be. Mike?
Yeah, Brandon, you asked earlier about hiring, and I'm looking at Ben's comment. If we met and had a beer, and what is the one thing I need to do to get from 1.5 to 3? It's going to be different for every person. Every business needs a different person. Don't think that it has to be perfect before you hire someone to do a job. You can build a plane while you're flying it, I promise. And bring them in there. You can't do it alone. Build the team to help you get to where you want to go, and do the things you think you can't.
15 million in 7 years. Yeah, I think you
Oof.
built that bad boy while you were flying. That's the biggest growth
Mhm.
trajectory I've ever heard of. Mark, you want to close us out?
yeah, I was actually also looking at Ben's comment, and
Ben, you
I
got
had
got a beer with all these guys.
you have a beer with all of
I'd
us.
love
So
to.
so my rant is going to be on hiring, and I had written this down earlier. Recruit daily. I look at it as like a pipeline, and your hiring system is actually a pipeline that you're bringing them through. and you have to be willing to recruit daily to that pipeline. And don't be afraid to have a long pipeline that has quite a few steps that allows you to get to know as much about them as possible and them as much about you. And then be willing to hire slow but fire fast. And specifically to him asking 1.5 to 3, it's usually, I mean, it could be different things for different companies, but it's usually salesmanship and not having a sales team. Like many of us have a lot of crews and a lot of painters that go and do a great job, but it's the owner doing a lot of the selling. I just see that a lot at about that 1.5 mark. And to get to that next level, you start to view the company as a bunch of great crews and also a bunch of great salespeople. And they work in conjunction. That's how you build with blocks. So that would be my recommendation, is start building that sales team, but the hiring is everything in that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, company has to become its own entity. Mike, Shane, Juan, Mark, you guys are phenomenal. I really appreciate you taking time to share this. If we could just get a heck yeah or a yes or something in the chat, if you guys enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I've conducted hundreds of podcast episodes, webinars. I took some stuff away from that I had never heard, didn't know. So that was truly phenomenal. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having us,
Brandon.
guys.
Yeah. See you guys.
If you want to learn more about the topics we discussed in this podcast and how you can use them to grow your painting business, visit paintermarketingpros.com/podcast for free training, as well as the ability to schedule a personalized strategy session for your painting company. Again, that URL is paintermarketingpros.com/podcast. Hey there, painting company owners. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us your feedback. Let us know how we did. And also, if you're interested in taking your painting business to the next level, make sure you visit the Painter Marketing Pros website at paintermarketingpros.com to learn more about our services. You can also reach out to me directly by emailing me at brandon@paintermarketingpros.com, and I can give you personalized advice on growing your painting business. Until next time, keep growing.